Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. Today's video is about another Q&A section. So I remember, I think over the past few weeks, I went on my Instagram page here and I made a story that since I finished university, does anybody have a question to ask me about me completing university? And a lot of you, or some of you, let's say, sent some questions to me, so I thought I'm going to make this video to answer all of your questions. I've got the questions here, so we're going to go through them one by one today. And if you are new, my name is Esther. I'm a current pharmacy graduate looking to start pre-registration here soon, and I do study related content, productivity style videos. So if you are new, welcome to the family. And if you're new, please do not forget to subscribe to my channel, like this particular video, and also share with your friends. And don't forget to switch on your notification bell so you can always get notified whenever I upload a new video every week. So without further ado, let's get straight into the questions. I've got my coffee here because this is quite lots of questions, so I hope the video is not going to be a very long one, but if you would like, you can get yourself a hot drink or a cold drink because it's the summer here, so let's have a good chat. So straight on into the first question. The first question says, how are you preparing for pre-registration year? So how am I preparing? Personally, I have not prepared anything for it, but what I did towards pre-registration is I spoke to people that done pre-reg with the same company I would be working with, and I asked for their advice, tips and everything, and majorly what they told me was that I should be like there's really nothing much to prepare, but sort of just have an idea and just have a quick look through into my OTC content. And when I mean OTC, I mean the over-the-counter medications that we sell in the pharmacy. So just have an idea, because for example with cocodamol, there's a legislation that we cannot sell more than 2 or 3 cocodamol because it's banned for PE. It is a type of medication where people can easily get addicted to it, and people can actually use it as drugs. Also some cough medicines as well. We are limited to how many we can sell to prevent the usage of drug abuse or drug overdose. So those are the things that you just have to know in your head. And also, for example, knowing like the WAM question, where you can sort of find out what other medications the patient are taking before you sell anything over the counter, because most of these medications can interact with each other. So those are the things I'm sort of preparing for. Aside from that, I'm not stressing much about it. I know I only have like less than 2 weeks now before I start, so I'm just looking to enjoy my 2 weeks, because once I start, that is work life, so I might not have a lot of time to enjoy myself and have free period of time like I am doing now. So I am not preparing much, just doing my possible best and just taking it as it comes. So the next question was, how did you study to get good grades? Okay, well, should I say that it took me about 5 years, a space of 5 years, for me to understand that it's not about studying hard, it's about studying smart. So my first 3 years at uni, no one needs to tell me, I knew I worked so hard. I studied so hard. Like, I am someone that can study 10 hours, just keep going and keep going and keep going, because I feel like I used to have the mindset that the more time you spend studying, the more you're going to get, the more you're going to be able to assimilate, and the more it's going to show in your grades. But truthfully, that did not happen. I worked my butt so hard, and I did not even see the reflection on my grades in my first 3 years at uni. But during my 3rd year, then I had to actually I watched Ali Abdal how to revise for your exam using active recall, and I watched some other videos about active recall as well, and about studying smart and not studying hard. So I then decided to implement a new technique where I don't just now sit down trying to learn all the whole lectures when you don't even know where the exam question is going to come from. So what I then start implementing is I gather like past years, past papers, look at the, you know, because when you look at past papers, you can easily have an idea of the sort of questions and this sort of topic areas this your lecturers are going to test you on. So I sort of look at that, and then I narrow the questions into certain topics, and that gives me the idea of what to study. And when I look at it, I majorly can see that, oh, there are some big topics that definitely always comes out every year, so I would definitely pay my attention on that certain topics. Also, I speak to previous years that have done the exam, and they were like, oh, study this topic, study this topic, this topic is definitely going to come out, so I tell you, you know it. And like that, I narrowed down my study session on and focus on those topics mainly. But because I also start my revision as early on, I know that I still have a bit of time towards the last few bits to actually now just paraphrase over the last few topics. It's not like you don't learn everything, but you sort of just pay attention into the most important things and just pay less attention on the things that are not very, very important. So that is how I have been studying. And another thing I do is that I make use of flashcards a lot. And I'm someone that when I learn something, I have to keep writing and keep writing and keep writing it for it to stick to my head. So I do all these things, and by the time I'm able to, literally someone can wake me up in the middle of the night and ask me a question on that certain topic, I'm ready to pour it back to you, like, because I have already assimilated, I know the topic in depth out. Another thing that really helps me is that I used to be a lone ranger when I studied. I used to be like, oh, I have to study alone, blah blah blah. But I found that that does not really help in the long run, so I had to start studying in a group. But I make sure that my group were just a group of maximum of 4 people. I study with them, and the reason why I do that is that everybody will have their strengths, a topic area that they have much more, they have a huge strength in, and we all go around and teach each other. And because you're having the opportunity to teach someone what you've learned, you are learning more, and you can learn from them as well. And it's also kind of works visually, where because someone has taught me something, and for me, when I'm learning something, I sort of notice what is around me. So when I see the question in an exam, I just remember that, oh, my friend said this when somebody wearing a blue top walked past, and that would just bring back that memory, and I'll be able to remember that content. Of course, before I study as a group, like, we have this mindset that before we come together as a group to study together, we have to personally go through the content in general and just sort of have an idea, so that when someone is teaching you, it's not like you are clueless, you don't know what's going on, because that just makes the job longer and makes the study session not very fruitful. So we sort of have an idea of what we are doing before we meet up. So if we say we are meeting up for 6 hours, we meet up for that 6 hours, and at the end of that 6 hours we can see a huge change. Like, we know that we've actually studied something. And that was what changed my perspective, and I started getting good grades for my 3rd year of university. I would not lie to you. And that was when I did my January exam, and all of my exams I got a first class in them, and it's never happened before. So I knew that the fact that I was able to change my way of learning, I was able to adapt my way of learning and not just keep studying hard. And it's not just about studying hard. I was able to get the right way of learning, even though it took me that long, but it's still something that really helped me to start getting good grades in my exams. So the 3rd question was, someone wanted me to give them advice on how to prepare for Osces, and I would say to you, Osces in pharmacy can be quite hard because there's a lot to sort of remember. I don't know how it's done at other universities. At my universities, we're allowed to bring in 4 pages, so front and back, 4 pages of notes about Osce. And before we do the real Osce, we have the opportunity to do a mock, and in the mock is literally what the real exam is going to be like you go through every station. So you sort of go through every station, so this is your opportunity to make as many errors as you want to make. And once you finish the mock, what I always do is that I sort of, after each station, I sort of ask the lecturer to please tell me what ways I can improve. For example, telephone consultation, I was so very bad with telephone consultation because I feel like I'm not seeing the patient. So it's easy peasy, but it's not, because you still have to have a good rapport and be able to understand what you're like, just build that relationship with your patient even though you're not seeing them. So I had to learn a lot. I had to do a lot of practice on telephone consultation before I got it. I even had like later sessions, because in our university our lecturers even have drop-in sessions for you to come and practice your Osce stations. And for example, if you are making a lot of dispensing errors, they will tell you that always look at this, always look at that. So that is how it is done at my university. And then I go back after the mock and then I rectify my notes and literally make it very, very detailed. I will put my Osce notes in the description, so in case somebody needs it, you can download it and use it. It's not like a well-made one, but it's something that you can really follow according to each stations but that is for my university. It might also be useful for you as well, so I'll link that in the description for you. So yeah, and I just literally make my notes really, really good. And like I said, I study in groups, so we have one of our friends that she doesn't mind typing and putting all the information, and then she sends it to you, and then I look at it, look at my notes, and add and take off things I want to have there and things I don't want to have there. So that is how I do it. And then I feel like I don't practice Osce like every day before the exam. I literally leave my Osce preparation until the day before, maximum 2 days before. This is because if you practice, I notice that when it comes to that day, it's easy for me to actually forget something, because I've been practicing so much I might get confused. So I always leave my Osce towards the last minute. For some that might sound as last minute, but to me it works so well for me because it is still fresh in my brain, and I've just gone through it over a space of 2 days, so it is very, very fresh in my brain, so I know what I'm supposed to do at the right time. So that is how I actually prepare for my Osce. But like I said, I'll put my my Osce notes prep in the description below. The next question was the biggest mistakes I made at the university. So one of the biggest mistakes I made, which I don't know if it's a mistake, was the fact that I was working sort of full-time during studying. It's not just during my holidays, like of course during holidays you can work part-time to just gain experience. I was working completely during the course of the year, and it's not the best. If anyone asks me, I'll say it's okay to get an experience, but I'd rather leave it to my holiday time than actually doing it during the course of study, because it is actually a lot of hard work, and that puts a lot of pressure, plus the university plus what you have to do at the university, plus then you have to go to work. Like, you just really don't have a good work-life balance. That is one of the biggest mistakes I made at the university. The second biggest mistakes I made is that I was too introverted, if that makes sense. It took me 3 years to make my own circle of friends, and I don't think it should be that way. I should have explored more. I don't even though I was here for 5 years, my dad used to say that I am an unsocial girl. He literally says that to me, like, why are you so unsocial? Because Norwich is a very nice place, and if I tell you, I haven't visited every places in Norwich, and I've been here for 5 years, and I sort of regret it now that I'm leaving, because it's now I don't have any memories of the fact that I was in Norwich. The only memory I have of being in Norwich is with my new friends that I made at my 3rd year of university, and then me studying. That is the only memories I have of being at the university, and that is something I really, really regret so much. And I would definitely recommend that anyone that comes to university, even though you're an introvert, try your possible best to come out of your shell. You don't have to go parties. Like, I know when we talk about extrovert, we all feel like, oh, we go parties. No. You don't even have to go parties, but try your possible best to get involved in things. I regret the fact that I was not involved in so many things on my course as well. I think it was at my 3rd year of university I started trying to get involved in things by actually even being part of the what's it called, Pharmacist Society Committee. That was the last minute thing that I just thought, let me do it for portfolio's sake. But like, I wish I had experienced more, and I got involved more at the university. Even now that I'm leaving, I really regret that so much, because those experiences that I did not enjoy would never come, that opportunity might not come back to me. And even though they come back, but I'm growing older, what I should have enjoyed in my early 20s, I did not, because I was just being, oh, I want to be studying. So I really regret that, and that is a huge mistake from me that I would recommend that no one does that. So the next question, oh, this person says, once again, congrats, thank you very much. Are you still looking to study medicine? Okay, that's a good question. At the moment, would I say yes or would I say no? I don't know. Am I still looking to study medicine? I actually don't know. Now that I finished pharmacy, I would not lie to you guys. After 5 years of degree, yeah, you have to think deep, like, oh my god, do I want to go through this again? Do I have to go through another at least 4 or 5 years of study and things? And at this stage of my life, I feel like, okay, so what I'm doing is I'm going to sort of give myself a break of 2 to 3 years of break to kind of explore the world. I've just finished pharmacy. Let me work because my period is an opportunity for me to work in the pharmacy line for a whole 1 year as actually working, not as a student, even though I'm still studying for pre-reg, since we have the national exam after. And then after pre-reg, I plan to actually sort of explore other areas of work, because when I decided I wanted to go to university at the age of 18, I just faced into healthcare. So I wasn't given I did not have that opportunity to actually explore other areas of work or sort of have experience in other places. And thank God for my pharmacy degree. Like, with a pharmacy degree, you can do anything. So I thought after that, I'm just going to try and see what I want to do, explore around for about 2 years, and just sort of take a bit of a break from studying. And then after that 2 or 3 years, if my mind is still set on studying medicine, then I would definitely go for it. But if after that 2 or 3 years I am still drifting between, do I want to do it, do I really want to go for it, and things like that, then I would have to take my decision then if I want to do it or not. But bear in mind, I'm working towards it. It's still the main goal sort of thing, but I just wanted to sort of give myself the opportunity to actually explore other areas and actually see what pharmacy is with actually working, and see if that would change my mind completely. So that is what I'll be doing at the moment. But for now, I really don't have a definite answer to that question, if I'm still going to go into medicine or not. The last question today is, someone said, I want to get a broad scholarship, but how can I boost my score at university? The person does public health. Okay. That's a very good question. It takes some thinking. Let me have my cup of coffee and we'll continue. Okay. I think this question is sort of in line with the second question I talked about, how I study to get good grades. So how to boost your score at university is, like I said, you need to actually find what works for you. You need to actually sit down and reflect on the fact that, okay, this is me, this is where I am, this is where I want to go to. So when I start university, when people talk about first class, like it's so out of my limits. I'd never think I would get there. Do you get what I mean? So, but the sort of circle I was around, we sort of, I don't know what happened over the space in that third year that we sort of just I think the fact that we studied so well in our January exam and we all got a first class for the January exam, that really motivated us that actually we are not dumb. We could actually do it if we put the work in and if we actually study smart. So that was what changed the whole picture for us, and I am so grateful that we all came out doing great. I'm telling you, like, even some of us got awards, and I'm just like, wow, like, just the fact that of that January exam just changed everything. So I'll say how you can boost your score. Sit down, see where you are and see where you're going, and don't think in your head. I'm a paper person. I write things down. Write it down. This is where I am now. This is my grades now, but this is where I want to be. Once you can see it visually, you can then sort of like, okay, what do I need to do to get there? And then you also have to think about your strengths and weaknesses. Maybe your strength is actually going through past papers, or your strength is memorizing for revising, or your weakness is that you don't like memorizing, you just find it hard to keep assimilate things. You just have to know what your strengths and weaknesses are. And then once you know your strengths and weaknesses, you have to know that, okay, I'm not going to try to study in my weakness with where I'm very weak at, because then you're wasting your time. Just because others are doing it, it's working for them, does not mean you do it and it works for you. So you need to find what works for you and build on your strength. I build on my strengths because I love to memorize stuff. Like my friends used to tell me, they used to say, oh my god, how do you do it? Like I can memorize a whole book on this head and give it back to you, but after the exam, don't ask me, I'm done. That sort of thing. But like that was my strength. I love to memorize stuff. It's just so, it comes so easy for me to memorize stuff. And even people were like, how do you understand by memorizing? I actually understand by memorizing stuff. So it works for me. It might not work for somebody else. So you need to build on your strength, and like that you can boost your score. Another thing is that ask for help. I knew, okay, for example, I'm not a chemistry person. I don't like chemistry, but I just do my best to pass. But I knew that, okay, I still want to have an overall first. So I asked for help from people that I know that they have a huge strength for chemistry, and then I asked them to explain to me. Even though it might take a long time for them to explain, but I do literally ask them to explain things to me, and then I sort of visualize what they're explaining. And even though I ask lots of questions, but I still get what I wanted them to explain to me. And like that, I was able to boost my scores at the university. Other things is that I go to my lecturers. So for example, I said I go through past papers. So I go through past papers, come up with model answers. So go through it with my friends. If we have arguments like, I think this is the answer, I think this should be the answer, things like that. If you have those sort of things, we just put the model answers together and send it to our lecturers, and our lecturers sort of give us feedback on our answers and say, I think this is what you need to have to make it better, and understand this person's points when they say this is what they think, and understand this point. So that sort of helps us, and that helps us to assimilate that information so better. Like that, I was able to boost my score at the university. And because you're working towards a goal of getting a scholarship, so you're just going to focus on that big goal, but take a little step-by-step process to get into that goal. So I hope that answers your question. So guys, that's all of the questions. I am so sorry if this video is so long, but I'll try to cut it down so it's not so long for you. But I hope I've been able to answer all of your questions. I'll try and be doing this as often as I can with this YouTube channel, so because it's really exciting to get you people to ask me your questions and me answering them and things like that. So yeah, thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you like it. If you do, please just give this video a thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Do not forget to switch on your notification bell so you can get notified whenever I upload a new video. And I'll see you all in my next one. Have a good day. Bye.